Well, welcome everybody. Today I'm grateful to have Andres Klaric here, a co-founder and co-CEO of favours. That's the next generation loan origination system. Welcome, Andres.
Hey, Antonis. Thanks for having me over.
Good to have you here. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about your background?
Absolutely. Born in the US, I was raised my entire life in Latin America and Bolivia, to be precise. I spent there the first 18 years of my life, and then I moved to the US. My first job out of high school here in the US was as a car salesman. I paid for college selling cars. And then I spent 10 years in Wall Street as an investor in tech and business services. Along the way, I met my co-founder at Harvard Business School. And then at the beginning of the pandemic, I had an itching desire to start something. Got in touch with him again, and I started bouncing ideas. And a few months later, we were starting a company together. Originally, the business was in the direct-to-consumer, but we quickly figured out that there was something more interesting in the B2B space, and that's how we ended up at favours. But that's kind of the short story of me. And hope that answered your question.
Yeah. So so you have a partner in your business, right?
Yes, I have my co-founder, someone that I met at grad school.
So how is the partnership like? Is as good as it sounds? Because obviously when I hear about partnerships, it's something like, something really positive with like-minded individuals. Is that the case?
It's better than you expect, actually. Of course, you go into a partnership because you think 1 + 1 will equal 3, and I think that has been the case for us. I think that what we just usually don't. You're usually just very, very happy that things are working. But I think that one of the components that I've enjoyed the most is just learning a lot from him. Probably he has created the most knowledge-rich environment I've ever worked in, and I think that's one of the most kind of beautiful piece of having started a company. Really learn alongside, kind of going through this with our employees and him from a professional standpoint. So yeah, it definitely lives up to the hype, and very happy it has been the case.
That's good. So what has been the biggest game changer for your business in the past year?
In the past year, I would say we can dissect it into the history of the company. But if I was have to just zoom into the past year, I would say referrals. People always talk about referrals, or you probably have heard about referrals. But they're incredibly powerful tools for getting new customers. Just someone saying something good about you when you're not in the room, it's exponential, the effect that it has in terms of time to close, time to contract. If any people don't second guess themselves, because they know if it's working for that person, and that person kind of has a similar use case to mine, then I have no reason to believe it will be different for me. So and I think it speaks volumes to the quality of product that we put out there, and kind of the work ethic that we've followed. But at the end of the day, it's also having those customers that are advocates for you. So I would say, referrals would be some of the biggest game changers in the last year.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So do you think there is a mistake that you made early on in that journey and you regret, or maybe you learned a valuable lesson from?
I mean, obviously, the first time, the market that we were operating in was not necessarily the market we should have been in. But I don't think we would have found the market we're currently in had we not made that mistake, right? So it's a clear example of learning from your mistakes, and we were fortunate enough that we run into a very good market with positive events, and that's the exciting part. But yeah, I think you're constantly making to minimize the effect of the negative side effects of that
Yeah.
mistake, right? So you make more of a if you're gonna make mistakes, you might as well just course correct and learn from them as much as possible, so that the net impact is as little as possible.
Yeah. So what do you mean as little as possible, particularly?
I just knowing when you've made a mistake,
Mm-hmm.
cutting your losses, and
Yeah.
and kind of do equivalent of a post-mortem of that mistake, see why you made that mistake, and ensure that you don't make that same type of mistake again. And
Yeah.
you use that each mistake as a learning opportunity.
Mm. Once you do a mistake and then you reflect on the situation, then you never do the same mistake again. Do you think that's one of the most important, let's say, attributes of an entrepreneur, and in this case, in your situation?
Yeah, learning. I would say the best and most important about the thing about entrepreneurs is first learning from other mistakes too, because obviously
Yeah.
if not you're going to go make mistakes that the others have already made, and like you didn't take the time to actually look at the space. But I would say it's the most powerful component of being an entrepreneur is just being a very enduring and just go through walls, right? That's
Yeah.
okay. That self-motivation is very important, right? Because in the very beginning, on the surface, it seems that you're crazy, right? For whatever you're doing, like
Yeah.
certain markets have been tested, it didn't work, or at least the time was not right. So there are many reasons to think that like, hey, you're crazy. So along the way, being able to have that discipline to wake up every morning and
Yeah.
rinse and repeat and do it all over again, and like until like things start clicking, that's kind of one of the most important things. Just that curiosity, kind of why it didn't work, right? Like why did I make a mistake, or why did it work, right? Because
Yeah.
sometimes as humans, when things are going well, we don't worry about, oh, why is it going well? We just enjoy the fact that it's going well. Whereas
Yeah.
I would say most entrepreneurs will be like, okay, let's put this in a bottle and let's make this like really understand why things work too, because this allows us to create repeatability.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, especially when I hear the word discipline, and as you said, when things go wrong, you go into that process of actually analyzing your situation, what has been wrong, what has been right. Even in the wrong situation, you're looking for the positives. But when things going well, I mean, you're focused on the rewards. You're probably, excited and happy and satisfied, probably proud, and we tend to ignore, let's say, that side of reflection when we are at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's nice for the customers as well to have somebody a phone call away that they know they're disciplined, and no matter what happens, they're going to keep going, right?
Yeah.
So
Exactly. So you need to document your successes even more than you document probably your failures. Both require, but the beauty about the success is that you can actually turn into a machine that continues to do things the right way, right? So that's kind of an important thing to remember.
yeah, exactly. So with that being said, what is the one question you get asked most often about your business?
I think when you're in B2B software enterprise SaaS, I think unless it's someone that knows the space, they're really going to not have much of an idea what you're doing, right? Like I think on the surface, what they think is we sell software to banks, credit unions, finance companies, right? So I always try to kind of reduce it to like we're the system of record for loans for people. Whenever someone apply for a loan, we're automating that process, right? So that it's intuitive. But there's more to that, right? Like there's 3 elements to what our product is, right? There's like integrations, meaning like there's a bunch of data sources, making sure that they all live in a place that our partners don't have to do those projects for connecting to them, like building those bridges. That we build those bridges of piping. Second is decisions. Like there's going to be a number of formulas that need to be run in order for someone to be approved or deny the loan. So that can live, portions of that can live within our system. And then it's like dashboards meaning like what do you see on a day-to-day if you're an underwriter or a funder at a bank, and you see the screen and like says like, hey, Antonis got approved for this auto loan. Let's check what information we need from him in order to like send the money to the dealership or to him, whatever it is that we're funding. So those are kind of like three things that we do. But going back, we're the system of record for orchestrating an approval or rejection of a loan.
I see. So let's take you back to the beginning. What would you say is one piece of advice you would give to your younger self starting out as an entrepreneur?
I think that with time, you just probably realize you learn even less than you in the beginning. So I think when you're younger, you haven't really unearthed just the depth of knowledge that it's left to be discovered in the world. You tend to see the world which much more like, oh, it's black and white, very simple things, and like it's all been figured out. In time, the only thing that comes is a little wisdom. I think it's just that wisdom of like, hey, I actually don't know much, but like I'm trying to figure out life and do like my contributions one step at a time, right? So that with time, I think you have a better instinct on how to you exercise your curiosity without over yourself. Like there's going to be like this kind of little book with all the answers that life has. I think if anything, with time I've come to enjoy how little I know, because from a curiosity and discovery standpoint, just beautiful to know that like even in my lifetime I'm never going to figure that out, and it's not an exhausting thing. It's just I love that sense of discovery, and going through that discovery process the rest of my life just seems amazing. Just think about the first time you had a certain meal, you visit a place, or you experience something. Just knowing that that's going to be an unending source of dopamine in your head is pretty good.
Yes, it's always nice. I get what you mean. All right, so on to the bonus section. I will say one word or a phrase, and you must reply with the first thought that comes to your mind. One word if possible. Make sense?
Perfect. Yeah.
Good. First one is business owner.
Brave.
Sorry, say again?
Brave. Someone that is very brave.
Yeah. Entrepreneurship.
I think it's overrated for most people. Like I think people have this idea that it's gonna be easy, and they're gonna be instant hits. So it's not for everyone.
Investing.
Fun.
Fundraising.
Systematizable. There's a system to actually like that you can follow, like so to the point of like success and failure, and like there are systems in place you can do to like actually succeed at that.
Fintech.
My passion.
Good. And the last one is a phrase: luck favors the prepared.
100% agree. But I think very few people are humble enough to accept the fact that luck played a lot of the outcomes. I'm a big believer that there's a lot of luck. I mean, otherwise otherwise the world would be filled up with trillionaires.
I get what you mean. You know, it's interesting because if I believe the harder you work and the more work hours you put in, the more likely you become. So obviously there are exceptions to the rule, right? with people doing absolutely nothing, and all of a sudden got a reward that's oh my gosh, fuck, unimaginable, I wanted to say.
Yeah.
So I would like to believe that that's the case, and the harder you work, the luckier you become. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think so. I agree. Like you need to help your luck, but I think that luck still plays an unfortunately large component portion of it, right? So just help it though. You're right. You need to help it.
Yeah. So you said brave for a business owner. Why do you think why brave as a first word and not, let's say, for example, a person in the past told me money straight away.
It's brave because you're facing failure. The odds of success are low, right? And you still go for it, right? Like so,
Yeah.
it's the same way that any situation in which the odds are against you and you still do it. I think the right word is probably brave, right? That you're still going to do it because you believe in it, because you think it's the right thing, because you. I mean, it could be money too, but it could be like fame, success, mission, love for family, love for country. There's like many situations. Of course, it's different type of bravery, but still be brave. Right? And you don't have to be an entrepreneur to be brave, but I think entrepreneurs in general need that to be able to like at least go through the first couple of years, because you are actually going into the night and not really knowing if you're going to reach the outcome that you want. As long as you know that it shouldn't be just about the outcome and like the learning process you go through, it's going to be one of the most gratifying professional journeys of your life.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I totally agree with that, by the way. And you said that fintech is your passion. I'd like to know more about that, because when I saw it first time, I didn't understand what it was. So what does it mean to you? And it's a passion.
For me, I mean, I'm the son of immigrants. So when I think about the effect the financial system has in terms of moving money and like enabling for credit, that intersection with technology is amazing, right? Like money has, I mean, this Zoom subscription you're working for, how are you paying for that, right? That credit card payment, or however you pay it, it's financial movements of money. That's fintech, right? Like everything fintech, it's the cards or cash when you go to the ATM, or you pay for your meal, or with all the subscriptions you have on your phone. That's fintech. When you think about going to college, or like the transatlantic cables that are facilitating this conversation, all that debt was moved from banks that were using technology. So I think anything that makes that system more efficient in such a way that the world continues to move, and that continues to that kind of non-stop expansion of growth that we've seen, and hopefully sustainable. I want to be part of it, right? I see capital markets as agents for good, and if through technology we can help that business person, that student, that mother, that father to get a loan that they need to get to their dreams, that's nice, right? Like I think that's a life worth living, and that's kind of what I see in fintech, in that promise, right? Into making the access to credit, capital, that more efficient.
I see. That's nice. So, any last words from Andres specifically before we close the pod?
I'm very grateful to have this conversation. I think it's always nice to reflect on your life and things that you've done and you're doing, and why is it that you're doing what you're doing, and I'm very grateful you made the time for me today, Antonis.
No, it was great having you, Andres, and it's really nice, especially when we hear about reflection. It's something that I personally think most people just ignore completely. They think practice makes perfect, but I mean, it doesn't without reflection. We can talk all our lives. Everybody can talk, right? Everybody talks every single day, but those who reflect are going to be the ones the best speakers, let's say. What do you think?
I still have a lot of work to do on that front, but 100% agree with you.
Right, that's nice. I mean, everybody has work, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Right. Thank you so much again, Andres. And that was Andres Klaric, ladies and gentlemen.